Hi, it's Maggie the Irish Gypsy here to bring you your March 2021 mid-month general readings. We're looking at the last 2 weeks of March, and this reading is for the water sign of Scorpio. Welcome everyone. I hope you're all doing well. Thanks for tuning in, for all your support, feedback, comments, donations, hitting that like and share and subscribe button. All welcome and appreciated. Thank you. And may it be returned to you tenfold. So this reading is for Scorpio for the last 2 weeks of March 2021. That's if your sun, moon, rising, or Venus sign is in Scorpio. It's also relevant if you're watching for a Scorpio. Of course, general readings, they always resonate a little differently for everyone. So watch all of your signs if you know them. Can bring in additional insight and perspective. If you find that any of the readings resonate with you and you'd like to take a deeper look at something, reach out for a personal reading, feel free to email me directly at maggie1maguire@gmail.com. You can also see that contact information by clicking on the little description link below, that little arrow. I do offer a wide variety of readings. I can usually respond within the same day with more information, and scheduling personal readings is done in a fairly timely fashion too. I do readings full time, it's all that I do, so I'm pretty diligent in working with people's schedules. So send me a message if you like. I'd be delighted to hear from you. Okay, Scorpio, let's see what the last 2 weeks of March have in store for you. It's been a time of potential crossroads changes for a lot of the signs so far. Okay, Scorpio. We begin with stress, anxiety, insomnia, fear, worry about an unknown future. Too much. This is worrying obsessively about a future that hasn't been written yet, but you're worried about it. You try and imagine the outcome, and it's almost always the worst possible outcome, and thinking about it in an obsessive way until it becomes so big in your head and so kind of twisted up in your head that it actually doesn't even match the reality of the situation. It's an unnecessary kind of obsessive worry. With the Tower, afraid something's going to come crumbling down, something's going to fall apart. The Five of Cups, grief, loss over what no longer is or what you've lost, rather than what you still have. The Eight of Cups, fast movement, conversations, travel. We have the Seven of Swords, being strategic, doing something off the grid or something being concealed or hidden. Could be positive, might be negative, it depends. With the King of Wands, Leo, Aries, Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, or Rising. From the bottom of the deck, overall energy, Scorpio, for the last 2 weeks of March is the Devil, which represents negative toxic cycles, imbalance, addictions, mental health issues, negative toxic relationships. I mean, the Devil represents too much negative obsessive energy in one area to the detriment of everything else, which is why it can show up for, addictions, drugs, alcohol, negative toxic relationships where there's codependency or obsession. It represents a cycle that we're caught in that's negative for us or that's harmful for us, but we keep returning to it because there's something we get out of it. Temptations, vices, there's something very alluring about the Devil, even though the results are always the same. So that's the overall energy. Let's see what this is about. Likely a relationship central here. I am seeing another individual. Could be a fire sign, sun, moon, or rising. Clarify the Devil for overall energy. The Two of Cups, the soulmate, kindred spirit card, karmic connection, the Lovers, the twin flame card. Yeah, so it's definitely about a relationship, and I can understand the nature of the Devil card here too, because the Lovers of the Two of Cups, this is someone that you feel you can't let go of, even though it's painful. Could be how the other person, it's like it's like you can't let go of this person even though this person is bad for you. We have the Nine of Swords again, so we have the Nine of Swords twice. And then the Eight of Cups, leaving, walking away from what is ultimately not fulfilling, to go off in search of the Nine of Cups, which would be abundance and wish fulfillment. So either you're stressed out, Scorpio, about, it looks like a relationship here, and one that you feel very connected and very tied into, but almost in an obsessive, addictive way. Very difficult to break out of this relationship. You may be worried about leaving the relationship. Maybe you're feeling like the time has come for you to leave, but you worry about the future or what's going to happen here. You might be worried that your partner is going to be leaving too. Let's continue peeling this back a little bit. Clarify the Nine of Swords. The Five of Swords, a hard-won victory, but sometimes winning at all costs or exploiting. The Six of Cups, an historical connection, could be family or somebody that you have a long-term connection with. This could be seen as being taken advantage of by family or by somebody that's very close to you. Clarify the Tower. Death, total endings, transformations. The Ten of Cups, the Happy Home card. The Seven of Swords, again, something being hidden. Let's keep it going a little bit. The Ten of Swords. The Five of Cups again. A lot of repeating cards here. So the worry and stress and fear is about something coming to an end. And it might be actually a physical end in terms of having to leave, having to move, not having any security or stability, feeling like the other person that you're involved with is, they might be, that you might be afraid that they're cheating on you behind their back. It might be that you feel they have another home or family situation or somebody else that they're tied to, or something else that is more important to you, so that you still feel irrelevant and marginalized in this relationship. You feel like things might be coming to an end because there's so much imbalance. And there's a real strong sense of things being hidden. Like you feel like your partner has secret plans or is making secret plans. And again, I feel like there's a third party situation here, or a bunch of things you don't know about. And it might not be a third party situation in terms of, you know, actual infidelity or cheating, but something being more important than you. It's like they're making plans for a future that doesn't really include you. You're kind of an afterthought or kind of on the margin somehow. And you feel like things are going to fall apart because of that. For some of you, it might be hidden financial stuff, you know, maybe, you know, finding out that the mortgage hasn't been paid and you might lose your home. There's a sense here too that even though there's a relationship central here, there's also fear of material insecurity. It might be because part of what keeps you tied into this relationship is not just the emotional connection, but that you're dependent on them. Maybe you're dependent on, where would you go? Where would you live? You know, would you be able to support yourself? Kind of like that. And you have this really intense fear about that in the future. Or if this relationship doesn't work out, then on a financial and material level, you know, you feel like you would be really screwed here. Like, where would I go? How would I live? Kind of thing, at least for a time. Let's clarify the Five of Cups. The Five of Cups is a card about grieving over what's lost or what you don't have, even though you still have two cups full. The Knight of Wands. The Eight of Swords. The Devil and the Emperor. The Emperor has Aries energy, and we do have a fire sign here, King of Wands, Leo, Aries, Sagittarius. Maybe some of you are involved with an Aries or an older individual who, and the Devil card again, so we have the Devil card twice. So this is all about feeling trapped and held hostage and bound. I mean, not in a physical way, but it feels like you're trapped within this relationship, which is not happy for you, and you worry about it constantly. It feels like even if it's not another person, like another woman or man, that's the third party, it feels like there's a whole part of their life that you're not privy to, that you're not a part of. Like when they talk about their future plans or when they do things around their future, you're not included in it, or you're not, important enough to be involved in it. But at the same time, you feel kind of helpless in this relationship, or like you can't free yourself from this relationship even though you can, because you're afraid of the consequences. And some of those consequences might not just be emotional, but financial as well, material, or like a place of living is what I'm getting. But it feels like here there may be somebody, and you know what, this is a bit reminiscent to me of Leo's reading. So I don't know if that's relevant, maybe another one of your signs or something like that. It feels like somebody's coming in here, the Knight of Wands, to help you. Knights represent offers and opportunities for change, and this one's coming in very quickly with the Eight of Swords and the Devil. So somebody coming in to perhaps help you break free. And it also might be for some of you, Scorpio, that you are, because of all of this pressure and intensity and all of that kind of stuff, you may be just leaving very quickly, going on a trip or going away for a while, because we do have underneath that Five of Cups and Knight of Wands, the Eight of Wands, which is a card of fast, aggressive movement forward, conversations, travel. Let's clarify that. It's almost as if you reach a breaking point where you're like, I can't deal with this anymore, I'm going to go away for a little while, or go on a trip or something. But there may be the opportunity to do that presented to you, or you may just decide to do it on your own. The Six of Wands, yeah, moving away from troubled, choppy waters into a place that's more, this is a card of healing. You're not quite there. This isn't a card of being healed. It's about the process of healing. You've left the choppy water behind you. You're not quite to the other shore and on solid ground yet, but you're moving towards that. Both cards of kind of physical energy and motion too. It looks like some of you are just going to be leaving or going on some kind of trip or something like that. And the trip in and of itself might be healing, just to kind of get your physical self and your mental self out of the space that you've been in. And then next we have this Seven of Swords, which is a card of hiding things, concealing things, or being strategic. It's a very self-serving card, which doesn't necessarily mean it's bad. We all, it's kind of like you're unhappy in your current job and you're actively looking for another job, but you're not going to tell your current employer that you're looking for another job, because that could be sticky, right? So that's being strategic and self-serving, not necessarily a bad thing, as long as you're not hurting yourself or someone else. So things being concealed to serve a person's own purpose, and with it is the King of Wands, Leo, Aries, Sagittarius, and we did have that Emperor too. So this is a card of this person, whoever and why ever this person is relevant here. It's likely the person you're in the relationship with, whether they're a male or whether they're a fire sign. That's what they're showing up as. It's like things being hidden. Let's see, what is the Seven of Swords? I feel like you've been exploited in this situation, Scorpio. I feel like you've been taken advantage of in this relationship or partnership from someone who actually didn't even need to take advantage of you. It's like this other person is showing up as being stable in their own selves, at least financially, materially, and it's kind of like they're in a position over you, and it's like you need them, or they feel you need them, or you're dependent on them in a way that you can't leave the relationship, or at least not right now, because it would be really, really difficult for you, especially to physically leave, because it feels like they're holding a position of power over you and taking advantage of what you give in return for that, but not really giving anything else other than the basics. That's what I'm getting. It feels kind of like they throw you the occasional thing. Like they have all of this sort of security and wealth, and they throw you the occasional thing, but it's not enough and it's not appropriate. The interesting image I'm getting is like giving a homeless, hungry child a candy bar and a toy. Well, technically it's kind of momentarily nice, but it's not really appropriate in light of what they really need, right? Which is someone to care for them and to nurture them and to give them a home and, all of that kind of, and vice versa, and all of that kind of stuff. So this feels like which is probably why the Devil card is showing up, because it feels like very much an unbalanced relationship. Well, let's see what's being hidden here with the King of Wands and the Seven of Swords. What is the Seven of Swords? What is being hidden with the Seven of Swords? And I feel like they're actually quite attached to you too. But I don't think, and they may say love, but I don't think it's coming from a sense of love. I think it's coming from a sense of possession and ownership and status, maybe. The Four of Pentacles, holding on to their own riches. This is the Miser card. Again, that's what I feel from this person, that they're only giving, they're in a position of stability and abundance, but they only give a very small bit. Kind of reminds me of, I had a homeless man tell me once that the financial district is the worst place in the city to panhandle, even though the richest people are there, the richest people work there. They're the stingiest. And I'm not saying that as a judgment against wealthy people or anything like that. I know plenty of wealthy people who are very philanthropic, but this is kind of, this is sometimes nicknamed the miser card because they want to hold on to their own security. They don't want to, open up and share. What if they lose, or what if they don't have enough, or, the Nine of Cups, abundance. It's almost a card of hedonism here. It's the wish fulfillment card, but not in the sense of the Ten of Cups, which is more connected to love and family and home and emotion. Here it's about having enough stuff and sharing and partying and your cups overflowing with abundance, but particularly in a decadent sense, like food and drink and things like that. So this is somebody who wants to hold on to and hoard all of their own stuff and only give out when they want to, or if it's convenient to them, but not in the sense of a true partnership, like somebody that you always know is going to be there to catch your back, and to help support you in hard times, because that's what people who love each other do for each other, right? But that's not this person's ideology. They're coming from a different ideology, but they're not telling you. They're disguising it by, oh, you're not feeling well, I'll get you some soup or whatever, instead of helping you with the practical things of, let's figure out better health insurance. It just, it feels nasty. So it looks like in the middle of this that you're kind of getting away from it all, or taking a trip or something of that kind. Either you're making the decision to do it and do it very quickly, or there's an opportunity that comes in very quickly for you to do it. I feel like I feel like we're catching a glimpse of the middle of a story here. Like this is something that's been going on for some time, and it's still not in a completion stage yet. I think what feels like it is left to do is still about making the decisions about what to do with this situation and how to do this situation. I feel like ultimately, no matter what the connection here is, Scorpio, I feel like you feel that deep down that this is not the situation for you, but you're tied to it in a variety of different ways that make you feel kind of restricted or helpless at this time, or too afraid to leave now because of the consequences of it. And it's not being talked about. Or maybe it has been in the past, but nothing happened, so you just don't talk about it now. Let's just end with pulling some advice and guidance cards for Scorpio. And this is, again, I don't know, I feel like there might be a Leo connection in here for some of you, because Leo's had a very similar sort of flavor to it. All right, advice and guidance for Scorpio. Actually, I'm going to use a different deck. Advice and guidance for Scorpio. The Ace of Wands, the beginning of movement, activity, sparks, enthusiasm, desire, new starts. The Sun, uplifted energy, unrestricted energy, pressures being lifted, everything being illuminated. The Wheel of Fortune, divine timing and orchestration, God, Spirit, your angels and guides coming in. And death after that. My goodness, look at these cards. Major Arcana cards Scorpio, reflect energies of God, Spirit, angels, and guides. Whatever words you want to substitute on, the energy is the same. They're not energies, of course, we have any control over. But even amongst the major arcana cards, some feel more profound and not controllable than others. I mean, the Wheel of Fortune, we spin the wheel and that's where our control ends. We have no idea where it's going to land. It's always in our own favor, even if it doesn't feel that way at the beginning. And death is another one of those, complete endings, transformations, the Sun card. These are being pulled as advice. This is what we have for advice, which is whatever happens here, whatever opportunities are coming in order for you to leave the situation or even temporarily get out of the situation, I feel like you should take those opportunities because I feel like they're spirit driven. I also feel like whatever is going to be happening in this situation, outside of decisions you make, like if the Tower card energy does come in because you're stressed out about the Tower card, whatever that means for you, everything falling apart or having to leave or having to move or having to start over again. I think this is one of those, the general theme I'm getting from these advice cards, Scorpio, is the saying that I have might sound kind of cheesy, and I think it might be one of those 12-step things, but let go and let God. That's kind of what I'm saying. It feels like you're being told to kind of get out of your own way and let spirit kind of drive this situation. I feel like those of you that have the opportunity to get away or see a chance to get away, again, it feels just like a trip or a small trip or something like that. I think that you need to take it because I feel like spirit has everything else in hand here, which is another reason why this Nine of Swords, stress, anxiety about the future is not necessary. I think that what you need to do is just open yourself up to, okay, God, whatever is the best thing for me, however that is, whatever that is, I'm going to get out of the way and let that happen. And when things happen and come in, not fighting them, going with them, if that makes sense. That's the key to understanding and utilizing energies of major, what events and situations are represented by cards like Death and the Tower. And, these are cards which stress us out because they represent major changes that are outside of our control. But the best way to understand those and utilize that is that what's driving that is a love for the best in our life. And instead of fighting that and resisting that, just to kind of go with it, and even if it's challenging and painful, just to kind of flow with that, because it's always meant to take us to something better. So I'm just going to end it right there. We're at 23 minutes already. So that's your reading, Scorpio, for the last 2 weeks of March. I hope that I don't know if I could say I hope you enjoyed it. Some readings are a bit more intense than others and more challenging because that's life. We go through these things sometimes. But what I hope that it was helpful in the sense that, whatever drives things being broken down or changing in a big, profound way in our life are driven, remember, by spirit. So behind that, there's a force of love for us to be in a place of true joy and fulfillment. So major changes are meant to put us on a path towards that. So just remember that when they do come up. All right, Scorpio, I hope that's been helpful to you. Again, if you'd like to reach out for a personal reading or information about that, you want to take a deeper look at something for yourself or perhaps as a gift for someone else, feel free to email me directly, Maggie1McGuire@gmail.com. I'd be delighted to hear from you. You can also click the description link below for that information. I will see you all in a couple of weeks for the April general readings. Until then, stay safe and well. Hope to see you back here again soon. Bye-bye.